Happy Monday, Tacoma. Welcome to your TV classroom. Second graders, how are you today? I have to tell you something that happened last night. In my sleep, I must have been having a very intense dream because I bit my lip. So if I sound a little bit funny today, it's because my lip is a little bit swollen, but I'm okay. But I just wanted to let you know why I might sound a little funny today. Let's do a zones check-in. Are you ready? How's our body feeling? How are our emotions feeling? And how is our brain feeling? I'm feeling blue-green today because this is hurting and it's kind of distracting and I'm kind of sad about it, but I'm ready to learn. I'm not too distracted by it that I can't think. So I'm feeling ready to learn and okay with a little bit of blue. How are you today? Thanks for sharing. Share with your learning buddy. Tell them, how are you feeling? Mabel, how are you feeling today? Oh, wait, Mabel, Mrs. Wally does this all the time. These friends come in, I have them set, I get back, and then they're all out of order. I think they think it's a funny game. Gus, Mabel, enough of that. Gus, how are you feeling today? You're feeling ready to learn? Great. All right, let's get started with our lesson today. Now, for your materials, you need a whiteboard and a marker and your learning buddy and counters. However, if you have counters that are coins, that would be best. Pennies, nickels, and dimes would be best, but any counters will do. So make sure you grab those. And it's Make It Monday. How can you make the number 62? What are you thinking? We could do expanded form. 60 plus 2. What's another way we could make 62? 31 plus 31. Great idea. What's another way we could make 62? We could draw it. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 2. What's another way we could do 62? We could write it in words. 62. How else could we make 62? 50 plus 12. There are many ways to make 62. What I would love for you to do is think up some more ways to make 62, write them on a piece of paper, or put them in an email and send them to me here at the TV classroom, and I can share some of the ways you all made 62. Wouldn't that be great? Whoops. There we go. Now, today we are learning to determine the value of a group of coins. See why I wanted you to get the coins? Before we start, I want to go over some coins. So, Mr. Kevin, I'm going to need the whiteboard. Here it comes. Perfect. Oh, I can see it. Ta-da! Now, if you notice, I have some coins on here. Have you seen these coins before? Do you remember the name of these? These are pennies. Do you remember the name of these? It's a dime, and this is a nickel. And I'm actually going to change the order because I want the order to be by value. You know what I've always thought's weird, Gus? I've always thought it's weird that the nickel is bigger than the dime, but the dime is worth more. I think that that's weird because all the other coins in our coin system, the bigger the size of the coin, the bigger the value is, except for the nickel and the dime. And I have seen students get confused by that. They think this is 1 cent, 5 cents, 10 cents because of the size. So be aware of that it doesn't follow that pattern when it comes to nickels and dimes. I just wanted to share that with you. Yeah, Pebble, you think that's strange too? Yeah. All right. So we're going to learn the value of coins, and we're going to be counting groups of coins today. So we are going to go back to our slide. We're going to look at the directions, and we're going to take each direction, and we're going to go to the next slide, and we're going to do it. I have a hundreds chart on the next slide. So it says, Count by fives from 0 to 50. Circle the numbers you count. Okay, so here we go. I'm actually going to highlight them because that's easier for me. And I'm going to do green. You ready? We're going to count by fives. So 0, I have nothing to highlight. 5, 10. What's next? 15, 20. What's after 20? What's 5 more? 25, 30, freeze. Where did I say we needed to stop? 50, thank you. 35, 40, 45, 50. What do you notice? Yeah, they're in columns. One halfway down the middle and one at the end. Why do you think that is? Yeah, because 5 is halfway through 10 and 10 is at the end of 10, right? Okay, let's go back and see what our next direction is. Count by tens from 0 to 100. Cross out the numbers you count. Okay, so I'm going to get my pen. Here we go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now, Pebble, what are you noticing? I was noticing the same thing. Second graders, what are you noticing? Turn and tell your learning buddy. What do you notice about our hundreds chart and the patterns that you see? Every second group of 5 has a highlighted and an X through it. I wonder why that is. Well, let's go over to the whiteboard and let's take a look at our coins and see if we can make sense of that pattern using our coins. So are we using pennies right now? We're counting by fives and tens. What do you think, Gus? Pennies? No, no pennies. Okay. And Mr. Kevin, I just realized we don't have the timer up here, and I didn't look and see what time we started. Do you happen to have the time?
I do. You're 8 minutes in.
Perfect. I'm 8 minutes in. So I'm going to look at the clock so I know what I need to do. Perfect. Okay. So every second 5 is the same as that? Could we do this? 2 5s is the same as a 10? Do you agree with that? If I have 5 and then 5 more, it's 10. So if I don't have a dime, I could use 2 nickels. Okay. And then I do another 5. So now I have 10, 15. But if I do another 5, that equals another 10. And I have 10, 20. It's an interesting pattern. Do you think if I was to highlight the rest of my 5s that I would find the same pattern all the way down my hundreds chart? Do you think we'd find the same pattern? Shall we try it and see? 55, 60. Yep. 65, 70. Yep. It does work. So 2 groups of 5 is equivalent or the same as 10. So 2 nickels is equivalent or the same as 1 dime. Interesting. I wonder if when we're looking at a large group of coins, if that might be able to help us count them more accurately. Okay, let's read. Lee, Seth, and Jack each have 5 coins. Now, Mr. Kevin, I'm going to have the whiteboard out as well because I'm going to build the coins. Is it possible to do the whiteboard small next to the big words? Let's do that. Perfect. So Mr. Kevin's, I'm going to keep reading. Mr. Kevin's going to work on that. It's going to be great. Isn't it great that we have a Mr. Kevin? He works so hard for us, and it makes it so he's always making sure, teachers, make sure it's big enough so the kids can read. We want to make sure they can read it. He is so concerned about you and being able to learn. So know that you're very cared for here at the TV classroom. So Lee, Seth, and Jack each have 5 coins. Lee's coins are worth 1 cent. Seth's coins are worth 5 cents. Jack's coins are worth 10 cents. Now, they've drawn pictures of coins with the value in them. And if you're doing a drawing, that's totally fine. However, this is new for us. And so I wanted to have the coins here to build. So the drawing's already there. If you want to draw it on your board, you can. But if you have coins out, I want you to build it with me. So I want you to write Seth's name on your board. Seth. Lee. And Jack. Okay, so do you see them? Do you have them written? Now we're going to build what they have. So let's read the clues for what they have. Lee's coins are worth 1 cent each. And how many coins do they each have? Right, 5. So 1 cent. Which coin is worth 1 cent? A penny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Lee's coins are worth 1 cent. Whoops, Lee. See why we check our thinking? Seth's coins are worth 5 cents each. 1. What are 5-cent coins? Nickels. Fun fact, in Australia, when they talk about their coins, it's a 1 cent, a 5 cent, a 10 cent, a 25 cent, and a 50 piece. So the names of the coins are how much each coin is worth. I bet it's easier to learn how to count coins in Australia. Don't you think? You don't have to remember the name with the quantity. So 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. We have 5 of them. Perfect. Jacks are worth 10 cents. Which coin is worth 10 cents? A dime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our question was, which child has the most money? What do you think? Who has the most money? What do we need to do to figure it out? No, Gus, they don't have an equal amount of money. Oh, guess that, but they have the same number of coins. They all have 5 coins, so they all have the same amount. What's wrong with Gus's thinking? Yeah, Gus, you forgot that each of these are worth a different amount. So the pennies are only worth 1, but the dimes are worth 10. So the dimes are going to be worth a lot more money. Okay, let's figure out how much each person has. How are we going to figure it out? Yeah, just like on our hundreds chart, right? Let's count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 what? 25 coins? No. 25 cents. Now, I want to talk about the cent and dollar sign. When you do cents, you do it on the right-hand side. If we're doing dollar sign, we do it on the left-hand side. And right now, we're only talking about cents, so we're going to do it on the right-hand side. Okay. Lee, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because they're worth 1 cent. 5 cents. What are we going to do for Jacks? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 cents. Who has the most money? Jack. Okay. Next problem. It says, look ahead. Use cents to show cents and dollars to show dollars. 5 cents is 5 cents and $5 is $5. Each type of coin and bill has a different value, just like we were talking about with those coins. So we're going to fill in the blanks below. Blank pennies equals 1 nickel. Well, how much is a nickel worth? Let's look at our chart. Nickel. Here's nickel right here. How much is a nickel worth? 5 cents. So how many pennies do we need to get 5 cents? Yeah, 5. 5 pennies equals 1 nickel. Blank pennies equals 1 dime. Okay, let's look at a dime. What's a dime worth? 10 cents. How many pennies make 1 dime? Yes, 10 pennies makes 1 dime. Now, we know this one. How many nickels make a dime? We did this earlier. How many nickels does it take to make a dime? Well, a nickel is worth 5 cents and a dime is worth 10 cents. So how many nickels do we need to make 10 cents? 5, 10. How many of them? 2. Blank nickels equals 1 quarter. Oh, we did that last time. It was 25 cents. What did Seth have? How many? 5 nickels equals 1 quarter because a quarter is 25 cents. Now it says a dollar bill is worth the same amount as 100 cents or 100 pennies. There are also other types of bills such as $5 bills, $10 bills, $20 bills, $50 bills, and $100 bills. Raul has 4 dimes and Pilar has 4 nickels. Why do they have different amounts of money? 4 dimes. So a dime is worth what? 10 cents. Okay. So this is Raul. Go ahead and draw on your board. See if you can understand. Pilar has 4 nickels. How much is a nickel worth? 5 cents. So how much does Raul have? 40 cents. How much does Pilar have? 20 cents. Why are these different? Why are they different? Gus, why are they different? Right, like we talked about before, they have the same number of coins, but the coins are worth a different amount. And in fact, if you look, Raul has twice as much money as Pilar, right? Because it takes 2 nickels to make 1 dime. Interesting. Here's your assignment for today. You're going to do a vocabulary about coin and do some more problems counting coin groups. If having them drawn like this is difficult for you, get some coins and count with some coins, okay? All right. Today we learned to determine the value of a group of coins. We skip counted by 1s, 5s, and 10s. We used skip counting to determine the total value of a group of coins, and we explained our thinking. This is just our first lesson. We're going to get more and more complex as we go with money, and I'm excited to do it with you, 2nd graders. All right, before you go to your break today, you will need to make sure you grab your learning buddy for your work with Miss Oslin. All right, have a great break, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Good day, young aviators. Did you know that we live in an amazing state? Not only is Washington famous for its spectacular scenery, but did you know that Washington State is famous for making airplanes? So today, we will be using our arms' muscular strength to fly around Washington State and see how beautiful it is. All you have to do is put your arms out when the bald eagle takes off from her totem pole and keep them flapping until she makes it back to her totem pole safely. Now, your arms might get a little tired, but that's okay. That's how we build our muscular endurance. Don't stop flapping until you land. Have a great flight.
Hi, second graders. Welcome back from your break. I hope you had an opportunity to take care of your needs, gather your materials, and also get some exercise. Let's take some calming breaths now before we get started with our social emotional lesson. Are you ready? Fantastic. Today we're going to learn how compromising is a win-win solution to a conflict. We've been learning all about how with friends, it's totally normal and natural to have a problem or a conflict with someone. And we've been working really, really hard to find win-win solutions. Win-win solutions are where both people get some of what they want and both people feel good about the outcome. We've been talking about how we can share, take turns, apologize, fix the problem, or get help as a way to solve our problems so that both people feel good. Today we're going to learn a new conflict solver that's called compromise. Say compromise. I want you to think about a time when you had to compromise with a friend. Think about what was the situation and how did you compromise? Take some think time. Turn and tell your learning buddy about what was the problem and how you compromised with your friend. And I'll tell Gus. Gus, I was just thinking about my kids, and there was a problem. They both wanted to use the same Legos. So we came up with a compromise where they got to they decided who could use it first, and then the other person said they would find another Lego to play with, and then they could switch. But now that's sounding more like taking turns. Let's do some learning about what it means to compromise. It's important to compromise with a friend so that you can maintain your friendships even if you have a conflict. Compromise is where you give a little to get a little. You do what's called meet in the middle so that both people get some of what they want. It doesn't mean you get everything you want and that you win the conflict. It means both people give up a little to get a little. Let me give you some situations where we might have to compromise. Oh, before we even get to compromise, when you have a conflict with someone, you remember we always stop and think before we say or do anything so that we don't say or do something that we know we shouldn't or that we will regret. Also, you'll remember when we are in a conflict with someone and we are walking down the peace path to find a nonviolent solution to a conflict, we always show active listening, which means we look at the person. When it's their turn to talk, we have a quiet voice. And it's important to hold your body still so the other person really knows that you are listening to them. Okay, here's a situation. You're at your friend's house and you're going to watch TV together. And your friend wants to watch a movie that you had started, but you want to watch cartoons. How could you compromise? How could you give a little to get some of what you want in this situation? Take some think time. How could you compromise? Turn and tell your learning buddy what you're thinking. Gus, I'm thinking that to compromise, if I wanted to watch cartoons, I would say, well, let's finish the movie first. We'll spend some of our time doing that, and then we can spend some of our time watching cartoons. So we don't spend the whole time watching cartoons. I have to give up some of that time, but then and then the other person gives up some of the time watching the movie. So we do a little bit of both. So when you compromise, like I said, you give up a little bit of what you want. So we wouldn't get to watch cartoons for the whole time, but maybe we can watch cartoons for a shorter amount of time and watch a little bit of the movie. That's a compromise. Compromise is kind of like when you make a deal with someone and we have a puzzle and it's a little piece and you figure out how to make it fit just right. So both people get some of what they want and both people feel okay with the outcome. But it also requires both people to give up a little bit of what they want. Here's another situation. My friend and I are playing at recess, and my friend wants to jump rope, and I want to play hopscotch. There's only 10 minutes left of recess, and we start to argue about it. What should we do? Take some think time. Turn and tell your learning buddy what we should do. There's only 10 minutes left of recess. We don't want to waste it arguing. Tell your learning buddy. I agree. Let's practice walking down the peace path to find a non-violent, peaceful solution to this conflict. My friend wants to jump rope. I want to play hopscotch. We only have 10 minutes left. The first step is we tell the problem using an I message. So think about how you would feel in this situation and make it into an I message. I feel because Take some think time. Turn and tell your learning buddy what your I message would sound like. Guess my I message would sound like, I feel disappointed because I want to play hopscotch and you want to jump rope. Now, practice saying it back. You feel disappointed because you want to play hopscotch and I want to jump rope. You'll remember it's important to say it back so both people feel heard and both people really understand how the other person feels, because the other person might not feel disappointed. They might feel something different. And it's important for me to know that they might feel differently. Step 2 is both people brainstorm or think of win-win solutions to solve this conflict. So take some think time. Now, turn and tell your learning buddy all of the win-win solutions that you brainstormed that we could use to solve this conflict. Gus, I was thinking we started arguing, so maybe we should start by apologizing for arguing, and then maybe we could each go do our own thing. Maybe we could find something else to do together. Maybe we could compromise. Did you come up with some win-win solutions? All right. Step 3 is we discuss and we agree to try one of our win-win solutions to solve this conflict. Now, I think we should start by apologizing. And then, because we're learning about compromise, let's practice using compromising to solve this conflict. What do you think? Sounds like some of you agree. So let's start with apologizing. You'll remember when we apologize, we look the person in the eye, we have a clear voice, we use their name, and we say what we're apologizing for. So it might sound like this. Gus, I'm sorry that I yelled when we were arguing about what to do at recess. And then Gus says, thank you for apologizing. Now, How could we compromise in this situation? My friend Gus wants to jump rope, and I want to play hopscotch. We only have probably 8 minutes left now. What are we going to do? That sounds like a compromise to me. Maybe we split the time. Half the time we jump rope, and half the time we play hopscotch. It's a compromise because we're not going to do either one for the whole time. So we each have to give up a couple minutes of doing what we want to do to be able to play with our friend and do what they want to do. That's called a compromise. Now, here's another situation. You go to your friend's house. They want to play kickball. You want to listen to music. What are you going to do about it? Take some think time. Did you think about the peace path? The first step is to tell the problem. So think about how you would feel in that situation and think about your I message. I feel because Take a few moments to think. Turn and tell your learning buddy your I message. Gus, I feel kind of irritated because I was hoping to listen to music, but you want to play kickball. Now, step 2 on the peace path is to brainstorm or think of possible win-win solutions so we both get some of what we want and we both feel okay with the outcome. So, brainstorm. Let's think. Doesn't really seem like either person needs to apologize because we haven't done anything where we needed to apologize or say we're sorry. So, don't need to do that. Sharing doesn't really work. Taking turns wouldn't really work. We could both just do our own thing, but I don't really want to do that because I want to play with my friend. Maybe this is a good opportunity to compromise. Maybe that's what we could try. So, how could we compromise? How could we give up a little bit of what we want to be able to get some of what we want? How could we compromise? Turn and tell your learning buddy what you're thinking. Gus, I think we could compromise by, like our last situation, splitting the time. Maybe we play kickball for 10 minutes and then we can listen to music for 10 minutes. Gus, I didn't think of that. Gus says, why don't you listen to music while you're playing kickball? Genius. What a great compromise. Yeah, Gus, kiss your brain. We could totally do that. We could have music playing while we're playing kickball. I don't even know if I would call that a compromise, though, because both people are getting what they want. What a great win-win solution. Okay, here's another one. Are you ready? Okay. Sometimes at school, students have to share a locker or a desk with another student. So think about that situation. You are sharing a locker or a desk with someone else. Okay, one of you likes it to be really neat and tidy and clean. The other person doesn't mind a mess. How are you going to solve that conflict? So I'll tell you, I'm the type of person where I like things neat and tidy and clean. Mr. Oslin is okay with a little bit of a mess. Now, not dirty, but just kind of messy. He's okay with that. So this is a conflict that I'm very familiar with. Now, you stop and think about how you would feel and how you could compromise with a person. Take some think time. Now, your iMessage. Use your iMessage to tell your learning buddy how you would feel in this situation. Gus, I would feel kind of disrespected because it's my space too, and I want it neat and tidy and clean. Now, step 2. Let's brainstorm some win-win solutions to this conflict. Let's see. Apologize. Don't really need to apologize because no one's done anything wrong. They just have a difference of opinion. Fix the problem? I mean, not really. It's not like someone knocked over my block tower and we need to work together to put it back together. Take turns? Maybe. Share? Well, we're already sharing. Compromise. Get help. I think this could be, we could take turns, we could compromise. Those are 2 that I think we could do. What do you think? Should we come up with how to compromise on this situation? Okay, let's try compromising. What if, how could we both give up a little bit of what we want to get some of what we want? What do you think? Oh, that's a great idea. Okay, so we're going to do, remember that term, meet in the middle? That means I'm over here. I want it really neat and tidy. This person's over here. They're okay with some mess. If we meet in the middle, which means I say I'm okay with a little bit of mess, and the person says will work to keep it sort of neat and tidy, we compromise. I give up it being really neat and tidy, and the other person has to work to make it sort of neat and tidy. We meet in the middle. We compromise. We both give up a little to get a little. It's a win-win solution. Okay, one last one. Are you ready? Okay, you and your friend are on a team together at school, and your teacher asks you to turn and talk to each other about your ideas. And then your teacher says, I'm only going to have one of you share out one of your ideas. How could you compromise? Because you think your idea is really something that other people need to hear. Your friend thinks their idea is really something people need to hear. And they're very different ideas. How can you compromise? How can you both give up a little of what you want to get a little of what you want? Take some think time. This is a tricky one. Turn and tell your learning buddy what you're coming up with for how you could compromise in this situation. Gus, maybe my friend and I decide that my friend will share my idea, or I will share my friend's idea, so that we both get to share and it's one idea, but the other person gets to be the one to say it. So we both get a little of what we want. It's important to compromise so that we maintain our friendships and relationships with people. And it's a really important skill that you'll need as an adult. As you're working together with other adults, sometimes you have to give up a little of what you want to get a little of what you want. We are learning how compromising is a win-win solution to a conflict because both people get some of what they want and both people feel okay with the outcome. And we get to stay friends. Now, go back to this big question that we started with. Think of a time when you had to compromise with someone. What was the situation and how did you compromise? Take some think time. Turn and tell your learning buddy about your situation when you both had to compromise. Now, you've had a chance to think about it. You've had a chance to speak about it. Your independent work today is to write about it in your writing notebook. Write about a time when you had to compromise with someone. What was the situation and how did you compromise? You're also going to use your powerful word patterns as you're writing to help you as becoming grown-up writers. We don't write letter by letter anymore. We write using word patterns. Think about other words that rhyme or that you know that you can use part of to help you write words accurately. Continue using your troublemaker words and your tackle a word chart to help you with those tricky words. Practice reading a page in your Snapwords book like you would read the word wall. Remember, you can read it loud like a monster, scary like a witch, squeaky like a mouse, whisper like a secret, or invent your own. And if it's okay with you and your adult, you can ask them to record you and email us a video of you reading a page in your Snapwords book, and we'll share it with other second graders here in Tacoma, and there's our email address. You can also email us just to say hi, tell us how things are going, ask us questions, anything. We would love to get emails. You could also write down anything, your ideas, and send us a letter. We've been working on letter writing. Write me a letter. Tell me how you are. And at the end of the show, Mr. Kevin will put up our address, like our building address, and you can put it in the mail to us, and we'll read it here on our TV classroom. Now, upcoming guest visitors to our TV classroom, there have been a couple changes, so pay attention. Are you ready? Wednesday, December 16th, we're going to have a video that we're going to share from our Tacoma Fire Department crew number 1. I'm so excited. They're going to talk to us about fire safety. They're going to talk to us about the day in the life of a firefighter. They're going to answer some questions that some students had about what it's like to be a firefighter here in Tacoma. I'm very excited for that. Also, this is the change. On Wednesday, January 6th, we're going to have Kwabe and Simon from the Peace Bus. We're so excited for this one. It was so much fun. We're going to have a read aloud. We're going to sing. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. We're going to talk all about peace, where you can think about your win-win solutions that we've been practicing. Then on Wednesday, January 13th, we're going to have Tawana Nobles, who is the president and CEO of the Tacoma Urban League. She's also the director of the University Place School Board. She's also a recently elected Washington State Senator. She will be here to talk to us about her story. We're so excited to meet her and learn about what does she do for our community here in Tacoma. Now it's time for your affirmation. This is the time when we get to use positive self-talk to build ourselves up and be ready to face challenges. So I want you to think about you being a good friend. You have been working really hard on win-win conflict solvers, and that makes you a good friend. So you can say, I am a good friend. Go ahead. Yes, you are second graders. Thank you so much for thinking and feeling with me today. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye.
Hey kids, we want to see your work. Just send your pictures and your stories to TV Classroom, 601 South 8th Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98405.